and Mars are both meeting up in Aquarius today. Whenever Saturn and Mars are like conjunct, it can bring a really intense energy. So they're the two like malefic, like they're intense planets, and they're hanging out today, right? Like in our field, messing with our energy, which is, this is going to be, not that things are going to be better after this necessarily, but we are going to be kind of on the upswing. But today's going to be this moment. Saturn in Aquarius, meeting up. I just had a call with one of my favorite clients this morning. She's an earth sign, and especially if you're an earth sign, you like structure. This is definitely going to feel like the rug's being pulled out under you, was the expression we used. And she said it so perfectly. So for today, we're going to focus on being in our body. We're going to focus on our breath. We're going to focus on taking care of our physical bodies. Breath keeps coming through. The download is like focus on our breath. And Marisa's going to walk us through some sensual self-care practices. So, okay, we have the YouTube going, the YouTubes. Yeah, like I said, this is wisdom that Marisa is going to be sharing for YouTube. This is stuff that's going to be good for today, March 31st. But these are good self-care practices for all of quarantine and beyond. So don't mind all my things in the background here. But really, I find so much of this self-isolation that we're in right now is teaching us like, what are the practices that we want to build the muscle of like doing now while we have this time, so that they just become ingrained in us. So when life does start to move fast again, we're ready. We have them where it's like our default is to go to them. So like I said, Saturn and Mars are meeting up in Aquarius today, all of that under a Cancer moon. So we have like, it could be emotional today. We just want to make sure that we don't, internalize some of the things that we're feeling. The things are coming up, just looking at them with awareness, staying curious. A lot of things about like, we might feel really stuck in our movement. We might feel like all of our structure, all of our comfort has gone away. We might be being really hard on ourselves. We might be like feeling kind of like old things coming up in relationships, old wounds coming up. So we're just gonna honor that for today, and we're not going to make any big reactions or any big we're not going to have any drastic decision making in terms of like yelling at someone or fighting with someone today. So we're going to do lots of journaling, and then we're going to do our sensual self-care practices that we're going to learn about. So yeah, so many things of positive news that came through. One thing I'm going to share just before we invite Marisa on was I put it in my stories, but this little boy who saved up all of his money and then like raised money to deliver like care packages to the elderly. I was crying. Obviously, so many things in my stories that I'm posting have had me in tears. So I just wanted to share that with you. Super positive. All of the like tweets and like Instagrams that I see that are from like the Gen Z and younger kids, it was like, we're going to be okay. They get it. They're not on the bullshit that some of the, the generation, the 7-year-old used $600 of his own money to make care packages for seniors during the COVID-19 crisis, because he realized like his grandma, he's like, who's going to shop for my grandma? She can't leave the house right now. And so, yeah, that. And then there was a tweet in our stories about a girl who went to go babysit a teenager. And when she got there, off some like babysitting app, she realized the woman not only didn't have money to pay her, but her heat wasn't on, her electricity wasn't on. And instead of leaving, she offered to babysit for free, and then called her dad and was like, hey, can we get her electricity put back on? And that is why I have faith. That's why I have faith. That is the good energy of the Aquarius that's coming through. That is why I have faith, because there are so many beautiful people out there, and there's beautiful people raising beautiful children. And so many of the younger generations, the Gen Z and whatever comes after Gen Z kids, they just get it. It's so ingrained in them to want to take care of others, to look at the collective. And so it gets me really hyped, because soon there'll be people who are running businesses and making policy. And the next generation is like giving my heart so much of a balm right now. So yeah, so we're in this transition period. So like I said, for today, Moon in Cancer especially, it's a good time to be at home, Moon in Cancer, and just maybe take a bath, take a warm shower, be in water is really good during Moon and Cancer, and then just allowing things to move through you. If you need to cry, don't resist. You know, we're home alone. We can cry if we need to, and just honoring like anything that's from the past that's coming up that feels like nostalgic or an old wound. Just looking at it, not attaching too much to it. Spending some time in journaling. And of course, to my cosmic bosses, today is our last day of our free training. So I'm so excited to be there with you guys. I'm going to be answering some questions throughout the week on the Cosmic Boss. We have, like, if you're interested in it, we have some good VIP deals that will be going through April 2nd. So to any of my Cosmic Bosses, if you have questions, let's set up some one-on-one time. If you haven't been doing the free training, you can go on YouTube, you can watch it. We'll email you the PDFs. Yeah, it's a time where we're being called to rise. We're rising to a lot happening right now. So if you have something you want to share with the world, if you want to be a more conscious leader, if you have magic you want to share, it's really like, I want you to be in this program if it's aligned for you and it feels good for you, because I know what we can do in these spaces, and it's no joke. So so that's that. DM me if you have any more questions. And let's see, Marisa, if we're ready. I want to get Marisa on early because I feel like she has a lot to share, and I want to make sure we have as much time as possible until 11 with her. So Marisa, whenever you're ready, send me the request to join in. I think if you leave and come back in, it'll appear. Oops. So Marisa, I think how I would do it is if you leave and then come back in, you get the request to join like right when you sign on. So sometimes like just end this and come back in. So we'll have her on. I'm so excited to have Marisa on. I followed her for such a long time on social. She teaches so many amazing classes at Maha Rose in Brooklyn. If anybody knows of that, let's see. The volume's up here. How we do it on YouTube. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, we did it.
We did it. This is so fun.
This is so fun. That's always the hardest part, is just getting on. So
how do I do it again?
I know. Well, I'm so excited to have you here. And it's so funny because we talked yesterday and so many things have been coming through of people reaching out and asking, like talking about breast massage, or just since we talked yesterday, people reaching out, asking questions about it. I'm like, tune in tomorrow at 10. Like, we're going to talk about all of this. So Marisa, why don't we start by, why don't you introduce yourself to the community and a little bit about what you do or how you got into your work?
Okay. Hi, I'm Marisa Sullivan. Normally I live in Brooklyn. I am now in Princeton, New Jersey, with a best friend of mine. And I got into this work. It really started when I was about 29.
Okay.
And I was doing a lot of yoga and starting to teach yoga. And all of a sudden I discovered that sex was amazing.
Great discovery.
I mean, I was like, I've been having sex, but wow, what is going on here? So I paid attention to noticing that yoga made me access my entire body, and that my pinky was connected to everything, that my whole body is like an interconnected unit. This breath that I was breathing, this all over, and that my breath was going all the way to my pelvic floor, and that whole idea of the bandhas and being alive in my pelvic floor. But the biggest thing was being present, being embodied, being in my body. And that through a lot of my own sexual trauma, I had to disassociate and disembody. And when things were intense, which orgasm is intense, really feeling love is intense.
Yeah.
Approaching intensity, I would disembody. So now yoga was teaching me how to meet intensity and stay embodied.
Wow.
So all these things were there, and I started to read and go to classes with a lot of people, a lot of my teachers, Sherry Winston, Betty Dodson.
Wow, iconic. Yeah.
If you watch the Goop documentary about female pleasure, you'll see that she 80 years old. I can't remember. She's in her 70s or 80s, and she's
I love that.
I mean, amazing. And it's,
Oh my goodness.
I think it's orgasmic juices.
Hello.
Yeah.
We all can tell when someone's in that like orgasmic juice. They're just like, it's vibrant times a million. You're like, whoa, okay.
So I've been, and that came a little after that. I realized, there's a huge health connection here.
Mm-hmm.
That our juices are connected to our life force and our radiant. And use these juices, and they're important, and we cultivate them. So, and then the other piece that came after that was sacredness. That I wish I had something in front of me, but sculptures of pussies. And people I love this picture that I have that is two people praying underneath a pussy and waiting for the juices to fall.
I love that. Yeah, you have the best like art and sacred like yoni, sacred pussy art on your Instagram. I was like, wow, like you always are finding stuff. Yeah, so obviously if you guys don't follow her, you're going to by the end of this, but definitely for nothing else, the amazing sacred art on your Instagram. Yeah. A wild and free in 12 thesis.
It's shameful. Yeah, there's a lot of religion that says sex is shameful. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of, and it's fabulous to go and find the sacred practices that actually say that actually the divine made you to feel pleasure, that your clitoris has 8,000, 6,000 nerve endings.
Right.
You have especially female, you have these organs that are only built for pleasure.
Right. So like, why would we have them?
Why would we have them? So use them. So I went to Spain last month and landed in Basque Country. The first tourist office that we went to look at this little town, on the wall, my dad says, "Marisa, come look." And there was like this woman with her legs up, with her exposing her pussy, and in 5 churches in the Middle Ages, in the Dark Ages, the church was like, "Hey, everybody, we know we want you to procreate, but don't forget it's really nice. So have a lot of sex."
Yeah. Oh, okay. I love that your dad, shout out to like sacred masculine dad energy. Like, hey, I think you're gonna like this. I know, that's great. I love that. I love how it's very grounding to see how deep that goes back. Like, before the next level of humans and the patriarchy messed it all up for us, but like that's how it was. I was similar to you. I was in Italy this fall, and in Sicily they had all these temples, to the goddess, and really worshiping the goddess as the person who held like in her pussy, in her yoni, in her sexual space, the portal between life and death. And like the rituals they did, and the flowers and the offerings and the pomegranate. And it was like, we were on this guided tour, and it was just these huge temples built in Sicily to this. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, they understood it. It got complicated along the way. Okay. And so I don't know how, like, where did you, for someone else who's interested in this, like, where did you start studying? So you did yoga, started reading books, and then you started studying like Tantra form, or like walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. And just backtrack one moment, and I'll get, like,
of course.
Just that for me, really seeing that sacred, seeing that there's that potential, that it's not bad, it's not dirty, that your pussy, your sexuality is sacred. It lifted so much sexual trauma, so much sexual shame. Just like that's on the altar. Yeah. To really take that in. I did lots of trauma work, but that, to really take it in, it's amazing what it can live.
Yeah.
So so studying, Betty Dodson, Sherry Winston, anyone you ever take my class, to study your anatomy, like that was big for me. Before esoteric, your anatomy, to really, nobody teaches us.
I know.
Nobody teaches us. We have, you can have cervical orgasms, you can have G-spot orgasms.
Yes.
Yes, we know the clitoris. All right, we got the clitoris. We got that. But
yes.
There's a bunch of pieces to the clitoris, and then how it connects. And like, why is your anus feel so good? And do you have to have anything in your anus to feel your anus? No, because you have a bunch of erectile tissue sandwiched in between the back of the vagina and the anus. So Cher Princeton, The Anatomy of Female Pleasure.
Okay.
Like going in, she has 2 books, but that one.
Okay, good. We'll share that in the story.
My mom thought you peed and had babies from the same hole, right? We have a bunch of holes. That's why we have more issues, because we have 3 holes, right?
Yeah.
Our pee hole, our vaginal hole, and men don't have as many holes.
Yeah.
And to get into that idea, like the penis, it gets so big, and it gets erect, and it gets hard. Look at that! Oh. Like
yeah. No, you can curse all you want.
we get big. Like, do that, ladies.
Yeah.
Like, look at yourself.
Yeah. I love that. I think there's so many, everything you're saying is like sparking a million like thought bubbles for me. I think a lot of what we're talking about when I started, studying my own anatomy, the own sacredness of sexuality, like one of the first like aha moments that might sound overly simplistic, besides the shame, besides all that, being raised in a very traditional like Christian household where it was like save yourself for marriage and like there was no connection to your own sexuality, like I felt like guilty, but I always kind of knew, even like somehow intuitively, I was like, that doesn't like add up. But the first moment of like studying all this, I was like, oh, sex is something that like I can want, I should want. It fuels me, it nourishes me, and it doesn't have to be like that thing about like the penis getting erect. I was like, I've always think I was trained to be this like goalkeeper, like keeping away sex. Like, okay, like you're just like, okay, and then finally like you can give it away to someone if they earn it, or if it like you're getting something back. Whereas like, oh no, like we have this like urge in us, this wild animalistic, it's the same, like we get big, we get engorged, we get like hungry for sex. And that when I like had that little download, I'm like, oh yeah, like I've been subconsciously thinking of sex for a traditionally identifying woman in the feminine role about like, ooh, like goalkeeper, not the not attacker, the one who goes after it and wants it. And like that thing about like studying your anatomy, I think is a beautiful way of understanding that too, that like you have a desire, you have eroticism, you have hunger in that way. That's like wild and primal and beautiful.
Yeah, to be there cultivating it. Yeah, so I got into practices of, literally it was at my acting class, we used to do this 3-minute brag. Time we would have to do this across from another person, keep your heart open and say, I'm amazing on stage. I'm beautiful.
I love that.
The big, fabulous, round ass. My breasts are so beautiful. They're like, and to try to do it for 3 minutes, and not be like disembodied from that, be really present. So I was doing that, and I said, oh, and then he said, go home and practice at home in front of a mirror. So at the same time, I was practicing sexuality, reading about it, studying, and then I took this acting thing and I went in front of the mirror and did this brag with myself. And all of a sudden I was like, oh. And then I took it into this self-love practice and masturbation, and which actually the word masturbation in Latin means to pollute with one's hand.
To what?
Pollute with one's hand.
Oh God. Again, with the words, like these words, what they do to us.
Right. So learn like, oh, there's this word that means to pollute with, like masturbation is dirty. The church has said it's dirty. That's why they created actually a lot of circumcision, but was to get rid of liquor. But yeah, it always sounds dirty. So I say self-pleasure.
Self-pleasure in masturbation out.
Yeah, self-pleasure. So I went into this self-pleasuring as a ritual, and then we create. So I'd be working on a play, I'd be working on a monologue, I'd get a little dry, I'd go lie down, and come back
Yeah.
And
Like open and
power.
juicy. Right. It's life force. It's just literally life force energy. So I love that. Okay, that's beautiful. So okay, I like loves. I'm like, there's so much we could talk about.
And then
So
in that, after, I think it's important to do the embodied, like Tantra, this kind of esoteric, and the esoteric and the meditative aspect, sexuality is awesome, but we have to come back to our anatomy. We have to come back to us. We have to, and then there's this incredible work that I've been studying in the past year or more, and with Betty, and she's very generous on her website, Betty Martin, for what's called the 4 quadrants of touch.
Okay.
Because something you said about take, right? So the 4 quadrants of touch, and this is this fabulous work where we're touching each other, but give and receive. So I'm touching you because you want to receive this. So what do you actually want to receive? How do I want to be touched? Like sometimes like, here, I'm going to touch you like this and I'll see that it makes you happy. No, how do you really want to be touched?
Yeah. And without having to give anything back, just to receive.
Yeah, and stay in that receiver. And how many women, when you practice these 4 quadrants, and you're like, oh my God, I'm sitting here like sort of receiving until like I know, okay, I'm going to have to give back this month.
Right, like, I'm gonna or like, how many times if someone's touching us, we kind of reach out to touch them back, and it's like, no, just the receptivity.
Do it this 3-minute game, like, play with each other. This whole thing is huge. And then taking. This is amazing. This is like, so as I start playing with these 4 quadrants and practicing them, so to take pleasure, to look at somebody and say, like, even if I look at you right now, like if I were with you, like I would love to just like grab the sides of your face and like move it like this, like, right? And that's because that's going to give me pleasure.
Yes.
And so tuning into, so to have this moment, I had this moment where I was with a lover and I felt that, and you hear your impulse and then you do your impulse. Like, what do I even want? And I was like, we were doing something, but, and I saw like the side of his waist and I thought, I want to grab that one little roll.
I love it.
And then, so I did that and we were doing something, and then I had this orgasm from doing what I wanted.
Doing what you wanted, taking your pleasure.
Taking my pleasure.
So good. It's so good.
And it was so powerful to feel that's exactly where it was coming from. If he wasn't doing anything to me, I was doing this, and that made me.
I love that. And like, when you say that, I can just, I can tap into the energetics of that. And that's, I want to look at, I actually have never seen that for the 4 quadrants of touch. Intuitively, it's just like putting things together that makes sense. So I love that as a model. I love a good model for learning like that.
Yeah. And whenever I do I do these tantric date classes for couples, tantric date for singles, and that we explore that. And when I work privately with couples, that's a big tool.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're gonna definitely at the end talk about all the ways to find you, like website, but also the upcoming events and the tantric date nights that you do now live that anyone can do from anywhere in the world. I think are such a gift during this time. I'm excited to do one this weekend. Okay, so many things to talk about. Let's I definitely want to talk about embodiment. I know I'm going off in my like, I'm like, ooh,
we got to do our breath. We got to do breath.
We got to talk about breasts. We got to talk about our heart chakras, our boobies, our tatas, whatever you want to, this extension of them. Right now as a society, like there's so much lung awareness, and we're also having these big heart chakra either expanding moments or things might be gathering on that. So let's walk people through. You're the expert. Let's talk breast massage, why it's important, some techniques.
Good. Yeah. So just you said it. Lungs, right? So come up a little bit here, right? Your lungs. All of your lung points and through your breasts, your heart, all of the heart meridians. So when you talk acupuncture, that the meridians, they come out and they end, and then out through our fingers as well, right? So lung points come out. So working with the hands is very important. touch, getting your hands really receptive. So to touch yourself is going to open up your hands. Your lymph system is huge for getting rid of things. There's so much to release and get rid of.
So much.
So getting into that, moving that lymph system. So, anytime you hear about breast cancer, it's like, what happened with the lymphs? Did any lymph nodes? Because your breast then connect your lymph system. So doing self breast massage, 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
And some other things about nourishment. Thinking about self-nourishment. Recently, my daughter is, I'm in New Jersey. I was in Brooklyn, and my daughter's dad felt the safety to take her away upstate. So I'm separated from my daughter right now. She's 13. And I was working with somebody talking about how hard it is. And all of a sudden, my breast got engorged.
Wow.
It was,
yeah.
When I had mastitis. So I was so upset with that I can't love her that literally I was like, I have to take my bra off.
Yes.
Breasts are engorged, and then just releasing it got stuck in there. So that, any kind of illness is energy not moving, stuckness.
Exactly.
So we want that to move.
Yes. Especially here with our lymph nodes, because everything runs, I guess it's just, there's not our other organs have a pump and things that are pumping all day, or they kind of gather. And, I love that you said that, because I shared with you yesterday, all of a sudden I started getting on my left side, on my feminine side, this a dull aching near my left breast yesterday. And I was like, I think it's just from all of this imbalance. And like you said, not being able to be near people I love, or just feeling that collective energy of wanting to care for people, so many things, care for myself. So I love, okay, so 5 minutes. And then is there a good practice? Should we start? What?
So I use coconut oil.
Yay.
Do coconut oil, almond oil, any good whole oil, even olive oil if you don't have anything. And the best idea, you want to get inside the armpit. So I'm going to actually go to this.
Okay. Yes.
It's nice to support the breast. Support with one hand, and then the other hand and it kind of moves over the top, and you get this circular. And if I had oil, you get this circular above and into the heart and into the heart.
Okay.
And this morning I was like, Alma says something you just said about love. We want to help so many people right now. We want to love each other, and it's overwhelming. So maybe you've got your 5 minutes of may all beings everywhere be happy.
May all beings everywhere
be free. May all beings everywhere be held and nurtured. And just being able to open up all your love channel to everybody as you do this. Timer, 5 minutes.
I love that.
From the armpit, above and below, these sweeps. And then you can go and just sweep the whole thing and get out towards the nipple. So you get all the tissue moving. You've got the other breast, same thing. It's harder for me on the side. I'm always a little confused when I get to my right hand. So again, from the armpit in, over, under, around. I like this infinity sign.
Yeah, this infinity loop. I know, it's so beautiful. And it's this infinity loop of the heart, of your love channel. I love that you called it that. The giving and receiving. Because I feel right now, or maybe we're trying to give a lot, but also this is the infinity loop of the receiving it from ourselves right now. So
this Kinanami, great sex teacher, talks about that 5 minutes a day it releases trauma, is self-love. You're going to fill yourself up already right now. If any of you are doing it, do you feel it? I feel my blood is moving, my breath is freer, my sinus opens, all that lymph. So again, then there's this idea of mucus, right? So if mucus is in your nose, things are moving, but if it's in the mucus, then it's going to get stuck. It's held there. So anytime when the mucus is getting stuck, same thing, stuck energy is not good. So when we do this, you're gonna feel you're gonna want to blow your nose.
I love that. It's so good. Like flush it, get it out. That's what we're trying to do right now with everything. We're like, we don't want that stuck in there. Okay. Yeah, just watching you do that, I was like, that feels so good. Like, because you see like the flow of energy come back. You can imagine how everything just sits here and gathers and runs off and from our armpits, and then that flow. Okay, great. 5 minutes of that infinity.
And they're also gonna look fabulous.
Okay, can I real talk? A few years ago, my friend introduced me to breast massage. She was studying with someone in this field, and she's like, okay, do it. And so we bought this like Weleda rose massage oil. It was great. I loved it as a self-care practice. And within like a few days, I was like, do people know about this? Like my boobs, which are like triple D, and I'm in my 30s. I was like, they were like happy. I'm like, my breasts are happy. This is amazing. They were perky and happy. It's like, I love this because I love when something is like the sensuality, the erotic, the emotional, the spiritual health. And then like it doesn't hurt when the ladies are looking perky and happy too after.
Yeah. And yeah. And there's this whole thing like bras suck.
Yeah. Bras suck.
Bras are not good for us.
Right.
I wear them.
Yeah.
I wear them because it's like if I don't wear them, it's weird. But there's this studies, if you don't wear a bra, your breasts actually learn how to hold themselves up.
Whoa. I love that study. I love that because I obviously try and go braless as much as possible because I can feel when I wear a bra too long, I feel like the energy is trapped. Even just those lines you get under, the feeling of taking it off, like they're in cages, doesn't feel good. Like it's not, and the energy's all trapped in there. But that's an interesting study by not wearing a bra.
Not wearing a bra.
It trains them to be held up.
Wear bras and their muscles relax and saggy. They started to, it makes sense. They started to depend on the bra. Don't wear the bra. Your own muscles.
This is so good. Okay, quarantine, braless, which is a great time. I'm usually braless walking around the city, but I like even quarantine at home. And I go to a chiropractor.
Yeah, I know quarantine, and I went online, but I mean, it's hard because then it's like we expect that it looks like this padded round sphere.
Right, like our boobs, right? Our breasts aren't just this like perfect round sphere, so we go braless. But I mean, I love it. Also the sensuality of wearing around braless. Like I love walking around the city and being like, ooh, a little breeze, and my nipples are hard, amazing. They just feel so much. They feel freer. Sometimes I like to wear a little, like these like cotton kind of bandeau. Sometimes, like especially if I'm premenstrual, my breasts feel very tender, so I'll wear that just kind of like hold them a little bit. But my chiropractor, of all people, told me too that like wearing the bra, he's like, a lot of people from wearing a bra for a whole life, it starts to, all of these like parts of our rib and our spine here that are softer from being flexible, they start to get pinched in from wearing your bra, and we will start to have like a pinch, and that will be like, it'll be harder to breathe. Our shoulders will feel tight. And I'd always kind of intuitively wondered, and then he confirmed it for me. So another reason, just bras out the window, burn the bras. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Everyone's so excited.
I know. Yeah.
We had Farrah Fawcett. Well, I mean, I'm 55, so Farrah Fawcett. It was like, oh my God, she's braless. It's such a big deal.
It's
it was beautiful.
I know, it's amazing. I know. I love it. What about wearing a sports bra? Yeah. What about for Gabriella? Do you wear a bra when you like work out or like do anything like impact?
But then I love it when my sports bra gets like really stops working so much. So it's just like a little bit. I like when they're like 4 years old.
So and then we have some used 40-year-old sports bras we can have.
So they just hold it enough that my nipples aren't getting hurt. I think move against things.
Okay, like a new sports bra. I actually was wearing one yesterday, and I felt like I was wearing like a Kevlar vest. I took it off. I was like, I can't breathe. I know, that's funny with the old sports bra. Okay, and I think too, like if you have to wear a sports bra for an hour, one thing I used to get in a trap with was I would work out and then I would just get right into my computer work. And I think there's something to like, yeah, if you want to wear a sports bra, if you're taking a, CrossFit class or kickboxing and like, or bouncing around a tramp, yeah, maybe you want to have a sports bra on, but then just take it off. Do your massage.
And take it off and do also dance
Like bring
for
up, right.
minutes without a bra. And that's also like to have your breast dance where you're by yourself and you feel like you can and feel them move and shake without a bra.
I love that. I love that. Like they don't want to be in that constricted space. I love that. So, okay, she wears a sports bra instead of a bra. Okay, well.
And it was this fabulous thing. I'm connected to them. And I keep forgetting there's this woman who made these really cool things. Now, what are they called? I'll have to get it to you. Those were amazing. Those are amazing. So they're not, and she doesn't call them bras. They're something, and they're very loose. They're actually made almost out of nylon.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, they're very cool. They don't restrict. They let the breast be their shape.
Okay. You DM it to me, and I will share that in our stories. Because, like, especially if you have a friend who's doing something cool, we'd love to support that. Support people doing cool things, and yeah, it's good to have alternatives. Because sometimes, like, just going straight braless maybe feels a little. Also, like, we want a little layer of protection from the outside world. But I love that.
I'm honest with you. I mostly wear a bra out in the New York City streets. If I was going to, I would get a lot of attention.
Right. That's another thing. Of just like
the nipples poking and moving around. And I'm not sure I always am ready for that. Or
don't.
Gotta be professional.
Right. But we don't always want that attention. And I feel like, to another point about why breast massage is so good is that, like, someone's going braless and her nipples out. It's like this really direct antenna to the world. Like, something's a little too much. Like, actually having a little protection feels good. Like, a little. So yeah, I think
there's both sides of that. Maybe I do want to tune into that.
Yes.
Maybe I do want to open up my mothering. So that's another, like, the first time I tuned into Reiki, and I said, and I was just with my teacher, and I said, what do we do about breasts? And she said, I don't know, we'll try, see what it's like to go right above a woman's breast. So I did it, right? When I just got Reiki attuned, and I went over a woman's breast like this, there's
so much energy.
There's so much energy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's so much nourishment. Like, you can feel it. So it goes either way. Maybe I have to protect because it's like, oh, it's too much. Or maybe I open up to that.
I love that.
It's another way to be giving and receiving out there if they're open.
If you're open, it feels good. I want to ask a question. I had something come through on my text messages from a friend. What about, do you have any experience with breast massage for people who have implants, or any recommendations for them? Or is it the same thing?
Not as much. I wish I had more. That's fine. Let's ask the experts.
We can circle back.
Yeah,
that just came through. Okay.
Scar tissue, I have more experience with.
That's good. Okay. So again, Marissa's Instagram is here. We're going to talk about how to reach her at the end. If you have, scar tissue from some kind of reconstruction surgery or implants. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So do we want to take questions now, or do you want to talk about the steaming and then take questions at the end?
Time-wise, let's do the steaming and not just introduce it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we'll take some questions at the end, and Marisa, if you have like a breast reduction or reconstruction or some kind of scar tissue situation, Marisa does seem like she has information on that. So you can talk to her and DM her privately about that.
Connect with my my biggest cancer. I had a wonderful breast cancer mentor, and she passed away. It's so sad. But I know definitely scar tissue. I've experienced and worked with women around that. I work in a cancer hospital, and I teach yoga and I do consults for people with cancer. Yeah. Amazing. So, but I just haven't had experience with the breast reduction and the implants as much.
I appreciate that. That's my favorite kind of teacher, healer, anyone. It's just someone who's like, that's not my area of expertise. I will do some research for you, and I will get some resources. So that's great. So, let's definitely, also, I just realized that we're talking about this on the Cancer moon, which rules the breasts. Wow, look at us. Okay, so let's
Mercury, by the way, since you're today when I pulled my planet card of who's supporting me, what energy, it's Mercury, which is about tuning into the body, right?
Is that
So
Mercury? Oh, good. I love that. I'm a Virgo, so I love Mercury. It's my ruling planet. So good. I love that. Okay, good. We're tuning into the energy of the body. I love
that's
it.
helping me. So steaming, yoni steaming, right?
Let's talk about it. Has anybody here drop a heart if you've done or tried yoni steaming before? And then Marisa will walk us through.
Yeah, I'll walk you through. So vaginal steaming, it's so simple. It's crazy simple. Crazy simple. You can get involved in the herbs, but honestly, if you can do some good salt and some vinegar.
What kind of vinegar?
And some, you could do the apple vinegar.
Okay.
Do an apple vinegar, but really any vinegar.
Any vinegar? Great. Salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar, and you boil that, and then you put it in a pot, you get it to steaming, and you sit over it, and just that, it's steam. So just think, my nose is all stuffed up, I have a bunch of mucus up here, I go take a hot shower, I really sit in that hot shower, I put my head over a steam, I blow my nose, it comes out. Basically, that kind of tissue that's up in our sinuses, the vaginal tissue, it's all mucous membrane. And so I do this with people, but my mentor, if anything's really serious, is Steamy Chick.
Yes.
Steamy Chick.
Yes.
Steamy, amazing. She's a dataist.
She's oh my God. Yeah. Her research, anyone wants to look on her site, or has a ton of podcasts. She's who got me into this too, because hearing her speak about it from the data and the evidence-backed research, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. The evidence is amazing. And basically, like in your vagina, anything, and again, mucus, that's the only way anything can stick. So things are always moving through us. Cancer is moving through us, but does it stay? So her theory is, if you keep it all cleansed, when the inside of your nose stays cleansed, when you keep the mucus flowing, there's nowhere for the bad stuff to hang out.
It makes sense, right? Yeah. Intuitively think about it. That makes such sense.
Yeah. So the way I do it at home, you can get these seats. You can get seats that you sit on. They're wonderful. I've never had one. Let's see. I'm going to flip.
Yeah, give us a little flip. Give us a little flip flop.
All right, let me do this. I'm moving around here. So what I do is 2 yoga blocks. It's not very steady. Okay, so 2 yoga blocks. And here's my teacup. But you imagine a stainless steel. Okay. What do we got? Do we got me down there?
Oh, okay. So you're actually doing like a yogi squat over it.
I'm doing a squat over 2 yoga blocks. Wow. And then a sheet over my legs.
Yes.
And here I would have a stainless steel pot. All right. Now you could make this more steady. What I do usually, I'm in Princeton, I don't have all my stuff, is 4 yoga blocks.
Okay.
Can you picture that? There's 2 here and 2 there.
Right. So then it's really like you're supported on all sides.
That's steady. The 2 tall ones I can do because I'm a steady squatter. But
this ain't her first rodeo, okay? She's squatting. So if you're new to it, I love that. My cousin taught me my cousin's a doula, and so she studied this a bunch. And she taught me an interesting way too, of just like leaning over something, like her stomach over something, and like this, and your legs are open, squatted, which in a new position felt good to me. I was like, okay, that feels supportive too.
You want to be aware that it's a pot of boiling water, and be safe.
Be safe.
So we don't recommend like squatting over it unsupported,
right?
But you can sit on the edge of a chair.
Yeah.
If you are a very steady person and you know yourself,
she had it like this, like my butt here. She had me like it was like this, like you just lean over something. And I was like, okay, then you're really supported on the front. And I did a towel. I also sometimes I have a few big long like skirts that are big and heavy, and that felt good. Anything, because you just want to trap the steam, right? Like not trap it, but have it like enclosed.
Yeah, have it enclosed. And then with a sheet, it's nice because if it got too hot, you can peek open.
Right.
And also there are contraindications.
Okay. Yes.
Don't do it when you're pregnant.
Yes.
No.
Okay, no
Don't-
yoni steaming when pregnant.
No yoni steaming when pregnant. No yoni steaming in your menstruation.
Okay.
So that help your menstruation cramps, but not, you can't do it during. You are prepping yourself to be clear in
Okay.
before. And so I'm not going to go for different things. If you have something big going on, fibroids, cysts, talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to talk to somebody. I just want to put my shirt on. I'm getting chilly. But right now, let's do so we have the setup,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now also, Steamy Chick sells herbs. And that's, for me, it's deluxe. They're deluxe. So you have disinfecting herbs, you have cleansing herbs. We're really going to talk about these disinfectings. So she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 herbs in here. It's deluxe. So she's uterine tonic, kidney tonic, skin toning, cleaning bacteria, cleaning viruses.
Viruses.
Cleaning viruses.
Okay.
I've cured my daughter from BV.
Wow.
My daughter hadn't had her period yet. She had BV, and the GYN was flipped out about it. We did disinfecting herbs, and we took mangosteen and cured her BV. Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we only have like 10 more minutes left. So many things I want to cover. Okay, so obviously everyone can reach out to you. Also, you help facilitate people through that. I'm sure you're doing like FaceTime sessions if people have questions about yoni steaming or any of these practices. Also do you want to share the face steaming?
Let's do the face. So you can get disinfecting herbs from Steamy Chick, but the 3 herbs that you really need for disinfecting, so easy: white sage, lavender, lemon peel.
Done. Boom.
You might have tea in your cupboard.
I was gonna say, check your tea. That's a very common blend in a lot of teas and things. Yeah.
And the lemon peel, dried lemon peel, easy. So mucus. Now, anybody who unfortunately has to go. If you have to go out and be in the world and work, and you're around the virus, then when you come home, you take your herbs and you do a facial steam. It'll get your skin. So take and do those 3 herbs that I just mentioned, or get the Steamy Chick, and every time when you come home, steam your face and blow your nose and blow your nose and blow your nose, and you can get stuff out of you. So it would be preventative for having the virus enter.
I love that. Okay, good. I love that. Especially like Marisa pointed out, some of us don't have the luxury of staying home and staying safe, or you have to go out for something. So, pass along. This is very valuable knowledge, especially if you know someone who has to be out at work, a healthcare worker, someone in retail, someone who has to be out in the world. This is such a way of coming home and literally just releasing whatever you breathed in, whatever you picked up upon. Also, I just know, to me, any kind of steaming, yoni steaming, facial steaming, it's so nourishing and grounding, bringing that warmth back in and letting go of old energy. It's so deeply therapeutic.
Okay. Yeah, and then so Steamy Chick, we're not doctors. Stay with your doctors.
Do your doctors.
Providers. I'm not telling you that anything to not do your doctor. White sage and lavender. White sage, lemon peel, and lavender. So that Steamy Chick did a email, and I don't know if she put it into a blog or put it in, but also the one of the big way that people die from the virus is sepsis. That vaginal steaming can avoid sepsis, can help you avoid sepsis. So I can't imagine. It's tricky, right? You're very, very sick, and you got to set up that you need help.
Right.
Set up this. But if you are sick, if you ever have a fever, if you have a fever, then doing the disinfecting herbs and vaginal steaming will just bring some of it back.
I love that. And I love one of the first podcasts I ever heard with her, Steamy Chick, Kelsey, I think, she talked about like steam, it's so powerful. Like steam can cut through concrete, steam can cut through like things. Like so I'm like it's the same thing in our body. Like it's just good to know like the steam really can work some things. Um
Yeah.
white
So many
sage,
white
ethical
sage.
sourcing. Well, also I just want to point out you can grow your own sage. Like I know
Yeah.
it's like now it's not gonna help anyone in this moment, but
The lavender and the lemon.
it's lavender and lemon. You can grow. I have this bowl. It's somewhere over there. But like my friend in Montauk just grows her own white and purple sage, and it doesn't look pretty. It's not like the perfect bundle you buy from Whole Foods or Urban Outfitters, but it does the same thing. So you definitely white, lemon peel and lavender would be a good start. Um,
And I know that Steamy Chick is very conscious about where she gets her herbs.
okay,
And her
good.
supplements.
Yeah.
She,
Yeah, look into Steamy Chick. You will be blown away. To me, she represents tip top integrity in everything she does. She really, I think, holds an impeccable space across the board. The medical, like the physical, the cultural, and then the like, more spiritual components of this. So, okay, so well,
and last link up to vaginal steaming, sorry, is
yeah.
like me. But if you're not having sexual touch, it also will keep your juices flowing.
Good. Okay. Another way to stay juicy. I love that. So Marissa, also I'm going to take, I'm sure the poll is going to be a resounding yes, but I would love to have you back on maybe next week to talk about, speaking of that, if you're single or you're solo during this time of quarantine, and what are some ways to, activate some sensuality, touching, loving touch, healing touch. So if you'd be open to that, I would love to have you back on. And why don't you tell people where they can find you, and upcoming like events that you have going on online.
All right. So you can find me Marisa Sullivan 1.
Marisa Sullivan.
One S. Marisa Sullivan 1. That's my Instagram. I have a website that has some updates of COVID and where I am. So that's marisasullivanhealing.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing FaceTime, I'm doing Zoom one-on-one consultations, and I have my tantric date night every Saturday night now through Maha Rose. So that's sometimes I'm doing couples. I'm having a queer tantric date night.
Amazing.
Coming, and singles.
Great.
So every Saturday night, it's a different venue of tantric date night, and it's so amazing.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait! I'm so into it. Into it
because it's actually perfect that people are in their living rooms.
Right.
It's perfect. And then I'm doing laughter yoga. We do at Maha Rose. We do the joy vibration. Is invite laughter and joy and pleasure. I'm a joy and pleasure activist. So that's happening twice a week. And I'm doing some, Lisa's doing some, this guy Sean is doing some, my friend Sean. So that's happening.
Okay, good. So we
have a women's circle. I'm trying to be open to a women's circle on Monday nights.
Okay.
Topics.
Okay, so we can follow you. So that sounds great. So yeah, definitely all the different tantric date nights on Saturday. What a better time to do it than now? It's a perfect date night idea. I'm so excited. I'm never in the city on the weekends, so this is my opportunity to finally come to it. And then the laughter yoga is so needed right now. I always quote, but one of the first emails like years ago I got from Maha Rose was just, laughter and magic are laughter and orgasm are magic wands of ascension. And that like plucked in my brain. It was like, aha, duh, yes, absolutely. So I love that you're advocates and activists for that.
Tuning into our joy and our pleasure, it makes us, it's not Pollyanna. It's not like we're going to cover up. It makes us able to be able to process the hard stuff. Where actually you'll be able to open to more darkness and more suffering for others if you have yourself filled up with pleasure and joy.
Oh, I love that. It's so beautiful. Well, Marisa, thank you so much for coming on, for your time, for your wisdom, for your humor, for your amazing visuals. I just invite everyone to go explore those practices. Absolutely reach out to her. Obviously her Instagram's on here. I'll post some stuff on my stories, and then definitely drop questions. We hope to have her back. So if this just sparks something, let us know.
Thanks so much,
All right. Sending you love. Go enjoy Princeton today. Okay. Bye.
Hey.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Okay, and thank you all for tuning in. I hope you got to hear everything. It was amazing, amazing info from Marisa. And yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow for the morning show. Okay. Bye-bye.